From America's farm to Fort Capital and some of the richest farmland in the world, it's time for What's in Season with Michael Marks.
Welcome to this episode of What's in Season with Michael Marks. I'm so glad you've joined us today. What an exciting show we have for you today. I am going to unearth the things that grow under the earth. Root vegetables. We're getting back to our roots, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to talk about root veggies. It's going to be a ton of fun, like these beautiful carrots. Oh my goodness. This changed the whole carrot industry. I can't wait to tell you that story. Jeremy is with us. Jeremy Patton is with us. Guys, this is the month of love, right? Something easy you can do for the one you love. Jeremy's with us for that. Mandy from Egg in the Classroom is here with us. I can't wait for her experiment for carrot tops. Oh my goodness. Dr. Chelsea Azarkan is with us. It is Heart Month as well, so we're going to talk about food and heart disease, so that'll be important. And Chef Adam Peckel is with us. He's going to show us what to do with these root vegetables. So let's go ahead and get started with root veggies. You know, there are about 300,000 plant species in the world today. Of the 300,000 plant species, about 6,000 of those are edible. Of those 6,000, about 150 of those are in our diets on a regular basis. Of those 150, about a third of those, that puts us at 50, grow in the earth, under the earth. And you know, I say root vegetables, there's a whole lot of root vegetables. There's also tubers, tubers like potatoes. That's a tuber, it grows under the ground, not really a root. There's rhizomes also, that's ginger root. There's corms, that's water chestnuts. There are onions, you know, that's a bulb, like garlic and onions. Those are bulbs. Then of course you can't forget the fungi, okay? You can't forget mushrooms. They also grow in the earth. That's where we get black and white truffles. But I'm specifically going to talk about these beautiful root vegetables that we have here. Let's start with probably the most important one, carrots. You know, the original color of carrots, by the way, happens to be purple. It originated in a country we now call Afghanistan. And we know exactly the century that carrots turned from purple to orange. It happened in the 16th century, and it happened in Holland. And here's what happened. Carrots ended up, because of the trades, they went into Western Europe. And in Western Europe, nobody ate carrots. They fed the carrots to the oxen and to the sheep. It went to the cattle, right? Nobody ate them. And they were purple. They looked ugly. But in the 16th century, something happened in the water, in the soil. They started turning this beautiful orange color. And we know exactly the century it happened because of the famous paintings of the 16th century. All of the steel portraits in the 1500s and early 1600s, the carrots were always purple. But by the end of the 1600s and early 1700s, those carrots now in the still life portraits were now orange. So we know when it happened. And these beautiful orange carrots. By the way, a couple things about carrots. When I first started in the produce industry a half a century ago, this is how we sold carrots. This is the only way they came in. They came in these bunches. And we would keep the tops on. And there's a reason we kept the tops on, because you like pesto? Yeah, you don't need basil for pesto. Use the carrot tops. So I get upset when the produce market, they cut the tops off, because, man, I want 2 for 1 for my money, right? I want to make pesto out of those tops. By the way, when they cut the tops off, that might be a little sign that those are old carrots. Because the reason they cut the tops off, the tops aren't looking good anymore. They're not fresh anymore, right? So when I see cut off tops, that's a hint to me. By the way, when you're picking out your carrots, here's what I want you to do. I want you to look for carrots that are rounded at the bottom. If they're pointed at the bottom, that means they're under stress. That means they're searching for water. So when they're really pointed, oh my goodness, they're stressed out, and that means they have a lot more bitter flavors in them. But when they're rounded at the bottom, those are chilled out carrots, and those are going to taste really sweet. Now, it was 1986. Mike Urosic, oh my God, he's a farmer in California, 1986. 1986. He was the guy who figured out, let's take our carrots and let's peel them and cut them into smaller pieces, and we'll sell them as mini carrots. This changed the entire carrot industry. Oh my goodness. Before these came along in 1986, in the early 1980s, the #1 carrot we sold were right here. Now this became #1. There are so many other root vegetables. Look at these huge radishes. Daikon radish, absolutely gorgeous. A watermelon radish. Oh, let me, I'd cut that in half, but I don't have my knife with me. That's all right. Take a look at these beautiful rutabagas. What makes root vegetables so good? They store up energy. Root vegetables are kind of like a mini utility company. They manufacture, they produce, they store energy for the tops. And that means these are loaded with nutrition. One final story. Does anybody know what this is? Yeah, some of you old timers know this is a parsnip. In the 1500s and 1600s in England, if you had a crying baby and baby was clean, baby was fed, baby was happy but still crying, you would pick a parsnip and you would take that parsnip in, you would clean it off, you would break it off, and babies would suck on the parsnip. This was the original pacifier. They're sweet, they're soft on the gums. So many good things about these beautiful, beautiful root vegetables. Hey, coming up, we've got Jeremy Patton's going to be in the kitchen. Everything a guy can do for the month of love. Don't go away. All right, February, it is the month for love. Not just one day, not just February 14th. Come on, it's the month of love. And Jeremy Patton is with us today. Oh my goodness, Culture and Crumb. You're going to teach us guys how to treat our loved ones, right? Something simple for us to do, something simple for me to do.
Yeah, simple for the guys to do. We're going to start with 4 easy steps to creating an amazing charcuterie board for your loved ones. So
4 easy steps. Here we go. Okay.
Step number 1 is your loved one loves roses, right?
Oh,
and
you
so
better have roses.
Create a salami rose. It's super simple.
So you got a shot glass.
Take a little shot glass. You can use a dessert glass. It doesn't matter. And we're just going to overlap salami like this. I'm going to use 9 to 10 pieces of salami. It's really simple. See how quickly I'm able to do that?
Okay.
Just with my hands.
Guys, you got a shot glass. You got a little glass. You can, oh, look at that.
See, just like that.
Okay.
And that's just going to go right there. That's going to be the kind of the cornerstone. That's step number 1.
Okay.
Step number 2 is the cheese. Ooh. I like to use brie because brie, will you be my Valentine?
Oh, very good.
Okay. So
will you brie my Valentine? Love it.
We're going to go right there, just forming a little bit of a base around that beautiful rose.
Beautiful triangles.
And then I like Gouda. Okay. Gouda is a great cheese, and I've pre-cut some of these into beautiful hearts.
Oh, wait a second. Us guys, how are we going to cut cheese into a heart?
So you're going to raid your wife's pantry, and you're going to grab the cookie cutter right there. And I grabbed a couple different sizes, and it's super easy. Just pop that in just like that. Peel this away. Now you want to save that excess because that excess is going to go into a great mac and cheese.
Oh, yes.
Don't throw that away, but put your little beautiful hearts right there, just so your loved one knows how much you think of them. Just like so. That's step number 2. Step number 3, berries.
Okay.
Beautiful berries, reds.
Great berries coming in right now. Mexico, Chile. We've got beautiful blueberries, raspberries, blackberries all coming in. They're absolutely gorgeous right now.
Gorgeous, gorgeous. Balance the colors. We have red on the front. We have red down at the top there. And like you mentioned, some beautiful blueberries just to fill in the gaps. Just like so. Now, Michael, do you think you can do this?
I think I could. Now, I know, you know, my Valentine loves roses and loves chocolate. Where do we have chocolate coming in?
That's step number 4.
Oh, step
number
chocolate.
4 is the chocolate. Chocolate goes so good with cheese, especially with Gouda. So we're going to put some milk chocolate hearts right down there. Those are beautiful.
Love it. Jeremy, tell me a little bit about Culture and Crumb. We have so many new viewers. Tell us a little bit about you.
So Culture and Crumb is a family. We love sharing charcuterie and cheese around our table. We love sharing it with you. So we create these amazing charcuterie boards for you to take and become a hero at your own party and your own gathering. We love teaching how to do amazing things with cheese.
Perfect. And it's not just for Valentine's Day, it's for the entire month, everybody. It's the month of love. Hey, don't go away. Coming up, Mandy Bottoms is with us from Ag in the Classroom. I can't wait for her to show us an experiment using carrot tops. Oh, Mandy Bottoms is with us from Ag in the Classroom. She brought some radishes, and I wanted to share something with you about radishes or any beets, carrots that have their tops on. The first thing I want you to do when you get them home is I want you to take the tops off, because the tops will draw moisture from the bulb, right? So you don't want that to happen. These will get all flabby. Same with your carrots, same with your beets. So as soon as you get beets home, turnip greens, take the tops off. You can use these if they're really fresh. I put them in salads. They're actually very, very good. Mandy Bottoms, we're going to talk about growing carrot tops. I love this because you have a sheet here for parents or teachers, and kids can make their observations. How are we going to do this?
Yes, so this is a science experiment. It's not easy to grow a beautiful carrot, but anyone can grow a carrot top at home, which might surprise some people. So this is actually what we call an inquiry experiment. So students are given a variety of materials or use things that you have at home, and then they choose what they think will help make a carrot top grow. So the first thing you have to do is you need to prepare the carrot. So we don't want a top on it. We're going to try to get those to grow. So you cut off the top about like this, and then you cut maybe like an inch of the carrot top just like this. So don't throw these away.
Of course
Wash
not.
them and eat them.
Yes.
But you can save those for later. And then this is what they're using to try to grow. And so you can ask students or kids, what do plants need to grow? Water, air, light, all of those things. But the thing that might surprise me is they usually don't need soil right away. You can germinate a lot of things. You can grow things without soil. So no soil needed for this experiment. And then grab some household items. So I got a jar, filled it with water, a couple plates, a lid for a jar, some toothpicks, a sponge. And you ask them, how are you going to keep this carrot top wet so that it can start to grow back the top? So some ways that we've seen students do this before is they might use a lid and put some cotton balls in there and then put the carrot top there. You can use the toothpicks to stick into the sides of the carrot, and then they balance it on top of the water so that it's just touching the water. You might have seen that with like an avocado seed or something. So you can do it with carrots too and just fill up the water till it reaches the top. They can do it with a sponge on a plate, and then setting the carrot top there. Anything that will have water next to the root will help the top grow again. So they make their observations on the paper here and talk about their design that they've created using their creativity, and then they make observations as they go as how the carrot top grows.
So observations after 1 week or 2 days?
Yeah, in a few days
right?
they'll start seeing something. So I think that usually around day 5, they'll start to see some new sprouts emerging from the carrot top. Ooh. And then I brought some radishes because you can do the same thing really with any root vegetable. So same procedure, cut up off the top, cut off a little bit at the bottom, and then place it somewhere and you'll start to see the top regenerate, which is really fun for kids.
Well, what a fun thing. Get the kids back, farming, so to speak, and get them growing a carrot top. That is so cool. We have so many new viewers. Tell us a little bit about Ag in the Classroom.
Yes, I'd love to. Ag in the Classroom is a nonprofit organization, and we try to make it really easy for teachers, caregivers to teach their young people about where food and fiber comes from. So we do that through our website, which is learnaboutab.org. You can go there, there's resources, everything is free. People always can't believe it.
That's even better.
Yeah, all of this that you see, we just get it out there for teachers to use with their students.
And you can go on the website and just type in the search bar growing carrot tops and probably pull this little thing up. And,
absolutely.
And so what a fun experiment this is, observations. That's very cool. Hey, well, don't go away because coming up, the doctor is in the house. Dr. Chelsea Zarkon is here. It is Heart Month. What can we do to better our heart? Don't go away. You know, February is Heart Month. 700,000 people die every year from heart disease. That's 1 in 5 deaths every year from heart disease. Heart disease is the #1 killer of men and women for the past 100 years. Prior to that, the number one cause of death was injury. Working on the railroads, working in the gold mines. Injury was the number one cause of death. But now it's heart disease. So Dr. Chelsea Azarkan is with us. I love you making a house call this month. It's so important, Heart Month.
Yeah, like you said, it's the number one cause of death in the United States, and it's very preventable.
Oh, preventable, yes.
Yes, so today we're going to talk about some eat this, not that easy swaps that we can do for healthier hearts.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first thing that I have for you is omega-3s over omega-6s.
Okay, that's over my head.
We'll jump into it. So omega-3s and omega-6s are fats that we get from our diet. They're chemically a little bit different in structure, but what we need to know for heart health is that omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, whereas omega-6s are pro-inflammatory.
I assume that anti-inflammatory is good.
Yes, especially when it's referring to the cardiovascular system. The omega-3s are anti-inflammatory for our heart specifically as well. So some of the best dietary sources of omega-3 are actually pasture-raised animal products, namely pasture-raised butter, eggs from pasture-raised chickens, and even pasture-raised beef. So a lot of people think that they have to cut those out of their diet when they have heart disease, but it turns out that you are what you eat is true for animals too.
So grass-fed
That's right.
beef,
so animals that are eating grass over conventional feed have higher levels of omega-3. So you can have some of those foods in your diet. You just want to choose them from animals that have been fed grass or pasture over what you might get at the drive-thru.
So when you say pasteurized, you're meaning
pasture-raised.
Pasture-raised,
Yes,
right?
yes.
It's not like milk, pasteurized milk.
That's right, it's different.
They're out in a pasture, okay, and
That's
they're eating
right.
grass. That's good.
Yeah, exactly.
So whether it's a lamb, whether it's poultry, all right?
Yeah, and now we know where omega-3s come from, but we also need to know where omega-6s come from. We want the ratio of omega-3s to omega-6s in the diet to be about 1-to-1. Standard American diet, 1 omega-3 for 120 omega-6s.
What?
Yeah, staggering. It's really sneaky. So
And omega-6, that's the inflammatory one.
Inflammatory, that's right. So omega-6s come from seed oils, which are used in commercial food production. So they're in everything, even foods you might think are healthy, dried fruit, butter alternatives, salad dressing, and then also things that are just common in the diet, whole grain bread, snack foods, mayo, hummus, sauces. It's in a lot of things. So when you look at an ingredient label, it's not going to say omega-6. So I generally tell my patients to look for sunflower, safflower, soybean, cottonseed, corn, peanut oils, or if it just says vegetable oil or any hydrogenated oil. Those are all omega-6s, and you want to try and find a product without those in it.
So how about olive oil or avocado oil?
Those are great. So I use those for cooking at cooler temperatures because they tend to oxidize into something inflammatory when they're heated. And then if I'm cooking at a higher temperature, I'm going to use this pasture-raised butter or maybe some extra virgin coconut oil.
Okay, so that's omegas. Boy,
Omegas.
that's a lot. And 1-to-1 is what we want.
1-to-1 is what we want, which generally means cutting out a lot of omega-6s.
Okay.
Now, we've got hibiscus tea over sugary drinks. So there's a lot of research showing that sugary drinks increases our risk of cardiovascular disease on a lot of levels. So I love hibiscus tea for a couple reasons. One, it's easy to add in. You can get this at Starbucks, so it's doable. It also has a really nice sweet taste to it naturally, and so it's a good stand-in for something sweet. It also helps lower blood pressure. So I actually bring this in to protocols for patients whose blood pressures are headed in the wrong direction. And as a bonus, it's a great source of vitamin C.
So rethink your drink.
That's right.
Right? So you said sugary drinks. Does that mean the sugar that's not really sugar? Fake sugar?
Fake sugar. So things like aspartame, Splenda, sucralose, things like that do have some negative metabolic impact as well. So we want to stick in the natural territory. Now, if you want something sweet, but still stay in the natural territory, dark chocolate is a good thing to add in as well. Everybody wants to eat dark chocolate for heart health in February. So it's not just sugary drinks that harm our heart health, also sugar. So sugar can actually increase our blood lipids or blood fats and really weight them toward a type that are smaller, stickier, and more likely to get stuck in our blood vessels and form a plaque. So cutting down on our sugar consumption overall is important. Now, if you want to kick that sweet tooth, dark chocolate is great. Not only is it lower in sugar, it also contains chemicals called flavonoids, which you're probably familiar with. They're in a lot of plants.
They're good for you.
They're good for you. They help reduce cholesterol. They are anti-inflammatory. They're antioxidant, which we've talked a lot about, for your heart. And they can help produce nitric oxide, which relaxes blood vessels and gets oxygen throughout the body, so the heart doesn't have to work as hard.
All right, some simple things. Do this, not that.
That's right.
For your heart. It is Heart Health Month. Hey, coming up, can't wait for Chef Adam Peckel to get in the kitchen. What are we going to do with those root vegetables? He's going to show us. Don't go away. Hey, thanks for sticking with us. What in the world is this? This is so popular. My good friend Frank Ratto Brothers, he brought this back into popularity. This is called celery root, celeriac, celery knob, whole bunch of names. But man, around Easter, this is really popular. Chef Adam Peckel, first of all, tell us, how in the world do we get into this thing?
Man, well, it looks a little intimidating, but it's almost like a potato. And what I kind of just cut off all this kind of funky stuff. And you'll see that one's kind of trimmed, but you'll find them with a lot of those like roots still on there. And you kind of just look for the main body of the vegetable, and we'll just kind of cut some of that stuff off, and I'll cut the top off as well. And then I kind of you can either grab a peeler or use a knife if you're comfortable with your knife skills, and just sort of shave off the outside. I like the knife better, but if you're not so comfortable, take a peeler. It's going to take you a little bit longer to get through that kind of that thick skin, but you just kind of shave a little of that off. Look out for some of these rooty spots. And then from there, there's a million things you can do with it. And what's so great about root vegetables in general, and celeriac especially, is we can eat this cooked, raw, pureed, fried, however you like.
Can't do that with a potato.
You can't do that with a potato, and that's what's so great about this vegetable. So what I like doing in the raw form is make a little slaw. I've got some carrots julienne there already, and so I'll do that again. I love using my mandolin on TV. And here we go. And then I'll just take these little slices, and then we'll just do a quick little knife work and get these little matchsticks, right?
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So you can add apples into this too, right?
The apples would be a great accompaniment. So again, just for quick and easy, so we got carrots and the celery root. We could add some apple, just a little bit of olive oil, some cider vinegar would be good, or maybe a Meyer lemon. Whatever you like. It's just you could do a creamy dressing, like a traditional coleslaw, a little bit of salt, and this would be great on, say, like a fried chicken sandwich or a grilled chicken sandwich. Oh,
nice.
Right?
Okay.
So there's raw. So we've got raw root vegetables. Now I think we've got some roasted root vegetables, which is very classic, great side dish for your Thanksgivings, your Christmas dinners, or dinners in general.
And most people don't realize that before the potato came along, parsnip is what everybody put alongside their roast beef or their roast lamb or their poultry.
Yeah. So, and I've got parsnips in here. So I've got in this blend of root vegetables, we've got parsnips, we've got celery root, we've got rutabagas, we've got carrots and golden beets. And their natural sweetness lends them to all kinds of flavorings. You can kind of lean into that sweet and maybe use a little sugar, cinnamon, or go really savory, like a barbecue rub. I've got more savory. I've got thyme and garlic.
You notice you cut them up all about the same size, so they'll cook up evenly, right?
That's right. Same size, but also different. We've got different shapes, which makes them really fun to serve. And then we can keep going. We've got now puree. So just like mashed potatoes, you can take the celery root or parsnips. This is a blend of actually celery root, parsnips, and potato. And we've got an awesome puree. I love this with braised meats, pot roast, short ribs, that kind of thing. And then
I wish you guys could smell this.
Last but not least,
so good.
We've got fried parsnips. I took just use a peeler, just peel down the parsnip and make these nice little parsnip chips. And for something like this, I'd put my nice braised meat on there, garnished with some nice little chips on top, and you've got just a restaurant quality dish.
Give me a fork, man. Give me a fork. That looks good. So many easy things you can do with
so versatile.
Vegetables. And again, you can start with roasting them. That's probably the simplest.
Simple and easy. Yeah.
And you can fall in love and unearth the treasure of root vegetables. Thank you so much for joining us on What's in Season with Michael Marks. We will see you next month.